Hello, and welcome to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. I'm Peter Wilkin, and I'm here to help you build differentiated, enduring brands and thriving businesses. It's not really a podcast. It's more a series of strategic insights, stories, and secrets of success from a lifetime's career in advertising, brand consulting, and change management. The thread that binds them is brand-centered management, the trademark brand building process and philosophy I developed with my partners at the brand company over 20 years ago, that's since been embraced by thousands of brand professionals and some of the world's most iconic brands. The 4Ds process and brand DNAs have become well known in brand strategy circles. The focus here is practical advice you can apply straight away to your business. It gives you a glimpse inside the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, our online coaching program, where we aim to democratize effective brand strategy. So come with me, take a step inside the virtual lighthouse. Welcome.
How about the Seagram lunches?
Well, again, this is very much kind of booze line theme, but
Yeah.
Seagram, one of the biggest alcoholic beverage distilling companies in the world, and Seagram Gin was absolutely huge. So they also had a complete portfolio of brands like Chivas Regal was one that we worked on, and amongst many others. And then since kind of formed with Diageo now. So we'd have business meetings with Seagram. They were one of my key clients. Mum Cordon Rouge, I think I told stories about them previously as well. And it was and expected that you would patronize your clients' brands wherever possible. And that was only courteous and respectful in many ways.
Right.
Obviously, not everybody could drive a Ferrari if we handled Ferrari. You can't, you've got to be sensible in the application of that. But when it came to the booze brands, you would patronize your clients' brands, and we would go across to them for business meetings. Forget about this. Sun is past the yard arms. It's past 6 o'clock. Now everyone can go to the bar and have a cocktail. That boom was significantly lowered for our Seagram clients. So we would go to lunchtime meetings, and you would basically have to wipe out the rest of your day after that, because the meeting would start with a gin and tonic and continue through. It was almost like accepted practice. And, you couldn't drive there. I didn't have a car anyway. We would taxi or tube it. Mm-hmm. Literally, that was part of the culture. So Seagram lunch was basically a liquid lunch. They were very generous hosts, by the way. They'd always have beautiful sandwich spreads and things here, but it would always come with alcohol, which was part of their business. And again, I tell these stories now because it was so natural a part of doing business with an alcoholic beverage company that. And I'm not saying all of them did that or worked that way, but this was how it was. But you kind of think of today and think, well, would they behave in that way? They absolutely would not. I don't think it would be frowned upon, is putting it mildly. It wasn't imposed on us. It wasn't like we had our arms twisted behind our back and said, and alcohol forced down our throats. Far from it. We were more than happy, willing participants. But it was, just to explain, part of that culture. And I guess if there is a moral lesson out of this one, it is you do your best to support your client's products in a way that is proper, but you don't need to compromise your own personal values for that. I think nowadays the younger generation stand up for what their beliefs are, and if they don't believe in the same things as you do, they'll tell you and let you know very, very, very quickly. That's I respect that in many ways. On the other hand, it can break relationships before they've even started. It's like, okay, thanks a lot. You stand over there. I'll talk to somebody else. So it is a risk, and I've seen it happen both ways.
What can you tell us about the infamous Long Island iced tea.
Oh, yeah, just a quick one on this one. I think I may have told the story in one of the pitches that we had in Australia for KFC, and this was the first time I'd ever been introduced to Long Island iced tea by their creative team, and we had gone out to celebrate the instant reward of having pitched a large piece of business, KFC, that morning, and been told we'd won it in the afternoon, which never happened, but it happened on that occasion, and. So we had gone out to celebrate, and the creative director, the head of the creative team, had introduced me to the infamous now Long Island iced tea. And I think it's called the Garcia effect, after a psychologist that was inducing nausea in rats when shown particular food. And and it's the same thing in humans. You know, if you first are really, really ill on one kind of particular food or alcohol, and
Right.
so for some people it's vodka. For me it's Southern Comfort, which I used to love until drinking half a bottle of it wasn't such a good idea. And anyway, so my Garcia effect now is a Long Island iced tea, because whatever they put into it, and I'm sure it wasn't just limited to very strong alcoholic spirits, it completely knocked me for six. We felt fantastic, all through the night. It was great, and we had a wonderful night. Rolled into my hotel bed at around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and was supposed to get up at 7 or 8 in the morning for a pitch for a local client, which I was guest hosting, from abroad, or supposed to be. And I did manage to kind of get up, and I felt all right, and then went downstairs to meet my lift in the lobby, and they took one look at me, and I looked like a ghost, this grey ashen figure, and that's when the Long Island iced tea bit me back. So I didn't even make it into the car, let alone the drive to the pitch presentation, which they won without me, probably because I wasn't there.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think I've ever had a Long Island iced tea again, and I probably won't.
Right. Yes, that is hugely relatable.
Yeah. Again, is there a moral and then that story? I don't know. Know what your limits are.
Know your limit, play your limit.
know your limits, and I constantly tested them way too many times. But my limits on Long Island iced tea is maybe a sip or two. Thank you for listening to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. If you found this helpful and want to know more, please visit my website at peterwilkin.com. That's Wilkin with an E at the end. You'll find more free resources, instructional videos, and links there. If you're a CEO or a business owner looking to build your brand, or a brand strategist looking to level up your skills, check out the CBO Masterclass in the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, where you'll be guided through a comprehensive, stepwise process to develop your unique brand DNA and learn the skills to become a certified Chief Brand Officer. If you have any brand or strategy related questions you'd like answered, you can ask them in the showcase notes below. I'll do my best to address them. Thank you, and see you next time.